I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, my homies, man. What's poppin'? Hope you guys are doing well, doing blessed. Alright, on this one we've got Thiago Santos taking on Magomed Ankalaev as the main event. Super sick main event. Man, to be honest with you guys, I'm kinda in a yo-yo consistency with my betting at the moment. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one. I wanna break this pattern. You know what I'm saying? I want to break this pattern, so yeah, gonna do what I always do, break down the fights, make predictions. As always, my homies, if you enjoy my content, be sure to send that like button to Shadow City. Alright, my homies, let's go. Alright, first matchup, you've got Tafon Nchukwi taking on Azamat Murzakanov. Yeah, pretty decent matchup to be honest, guys. When you're looking at Tafon Nchukwi, this guy has the potential to knock you out. He's only 7 pro fights into his career, but you can see already, you know, the knockout power is there. He hasn't exactly got like a high output or really decent wrestling credentials or anything like that. It looks like it's just knockout power that Tafon Nchukwi possesses. On the flip side, guys, you've got Azamat Murzakanov. Now, some of you guys may not remember this guy, but he got a suspension from USADA. But yeah, Azamat Murzakanov got a really nice win on the Contender Series, and now he's making his UFC debut. So looking at this matchup, trying to figure out how it's going to play out. Obviously, like I said, Tafon Nchukwi possesses that KO power. But if you're looking at who's got better technique, who's got better movement, who can find the jab quicker, who's arguably a much better grappler, all of these answers is going to be Azamat Murzakanov. You know, when you get inside the octagon, anything can happen. Tafon Nchukwi is going to try to knock Azamat dead. But if that doesn't happen, I think Azamat racks up the kicks, lands some nice shots. He might take Tafon Nchukwi to the mat. Even if he decides to stand and trade, it's going to be measured, you know, it's going to be composed. It's not going to be stand and bang. It's going to be more like, I'm quicker, I'm more technical, I'm going to just outclass you. And that's what I think he does to Tafon Nchukwi. So that's going to be my first prediction. I'm going to side with the professional Azamat Murzakanov. Now, I'm sure the betting line's going to be, it's not that bad actually. -160, -150. Yeah, that's pretty good. The only way I can see him losing is Tafon Nchukwi putting him down with a big shot. But yeah, my prediction, Azamat Murzakanov. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Guido Canneti taking on Kris Moutinho. Man, I really enjoyed going back and watching tape on this one. I'm sure a lot of you guys go back and watch tape too, and I'm sure you enjoyed it because you get to watch Kris Moutinho against Sean O'Malley. I'm sure a lot of you guys respect Kris Moutinho after that performance. It's not like the decision was ever going to be close. It's not like Kris Moutinho gave Sean O'Malley a real run for his money. It's not like anything to do with that. But when you're looking at Kris Moutinho and why he's got so many fans, it's going to be the heart. You know, the guy got torched. You know what I'm saying? He got dusted. But Kris Moutinho's smiling at Sean O'Malley, still walking him down, still using a high pressure in that fight, that you can only respect it. You know what I'm saying? It's a real fighting mentality to just be outclassed, to be dusted by your opponent, but hey, I'm still here. I'm still going to walk you down. You know, you might be giving me CTE, but I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? That's really what Kris Moutinho showed in that UFC debut. This guy's a dog. Now, when you're looking at Guido Canneti, 42 years old, you go back and watch the fight against Manny Martinez, which was his last matchup, and you can see that calf kick. You know, that calf kick is being displayed over and over, and it was a real nice weapon from Guido Canneti. So when you try to picture this one playing out inside the octagon, you might see that, right? You might see Guido landing that calf kick over and over. But like we just mentioned with Kris Moutinho, taking a complete dusting from Sean O'Malley and still walking forward. So if Guido Canneti's landing that calf kick over and over, is it going to be enough to stop Kris Moutinho? Probably not. I think Kris Moutinho might drop round 1, but if Kris Moutinho continues to use the same pressure that he used against Sean O'Malley, if he continues to stay on the foot of Guido Canneti, there's a really good chance that Kris Moutinho does have a higher output against Canneti. There's so many reasons as to why. Sean O'Malley's quicker, he's taller, he's longer, he's switching stances, he's got more weapons. Guido Canneti's not doing any of that, you know, he's firing a really powerful calf kick, and he's a dog too, but I think the result in this matchup is going to be Kris Moutinho is still walking forward, whereas Canneti's slowing down a little bit, showing his age inside the octagon. And Kris Moutinho's just kind of beating him on output, beating him on cardio, beating him on being that dog. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm going to take Kris Moutinho to get a nice win against an old Guido Canneti. Now, even though I'm going to side with Kris Moutinho, I'm not going to go crazy on the betting line. You know, he did get hit a lot in that debut against Sean O'Malley. I'm not saying that Guido's going to smack him around the octagon the same way as Sean O'Malley, but again, Kris Moutinho doesn't have great striking defense, so there is going to be a small chance that Canneti can find a KO round 1. But I think if this matchup leaves round 1, the difference, like I said, is going to be output and cardio. So yeah, I'd price him around 60% chance, wins the fight 6 times out of 10. And you've got Kris Moutinho minus 140, minus 150, even minus 130 on some books. So yeah, guys, I do believe the bookie has the betting lines pretty accurate. Kris Moutinho favoured around 60%. You know, that 60% probability really might start to show outside of round 1. You know, Canneti has a nice round 1, but slows down a little bit. Kris Moutinho is still walking forward. So yeah, that's going to be my prediction. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Cody Brundage taking on Dalcha Lungiambula. Yeah, try to say that one, guys. Dalcha Lungiambula. Have an attempt. Alright, so with this matchup, man, it's kind of difficult to predict because Dalcha Lungiambula isn't this great fighter and neither is Cody Brundage, in all honesty. When you're looking at what Dalcha Lungiambula does well, he's a scary man. I was just watching tape, guys, and Michael Bisping said something quite funny, man. I'm going to show you the clip right now. Basically, guys, in his last matchup against Marc-Andre, this matchup was happening, it was early in the morning in America, right? It was an early card. And Michael Bisping basically said, I don't need any coffee. You know, Dalcha Lungiambula's gonna wake you up, is what he was trying to say. But he didn't say it like that, and it sounded weird, to be honest, but it was hilarious at the same time.
I'm telling you, who needs coffee when you got Dalcha Lungiambula in there? Because this man, he will give you an injection of caffeine of some sort. I don't even know what that means, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh man, Michael Bisping, one of the favourites, man. I know some people don't like his commentary, but yeah, for me personally, big fan of Mike Bisping. So yeah, guys, with this matchup, man, Dalcha Lungiambula has the opportunity to KO Cody Brundage if this fight stays standing. Now, looking at the opponent, Cody Brundage, this guy is primarily a wrestler. So that means if Dalcha Lungiambula slows down and Cody Brundage can get that takedown, that's potentially the fight done. One of the main reasons why Dalcha Lungiambula slows down, check this striking technique. You know, it's not technical. There's a lot of power going into these punches, and when you miss this type of punch, when there's a lot of power, it's fatiguing. So yeah, guys, that's what you've got with this matchup. You've got a wrestler in Cody Brundage who's probably going to try to use that skill set against Dalcha Lungiambula, who is a judoka but doesn't really look to use it. You know, he's looking to knock you out. So potentially a round 1 stoppage, round 2 stoppage for Dalcha, or maybe a late stoppage for Cody because Dalcha slows down. Man, it's a difficult prediction to make, but I'm going to side with champion Dalcha Lungiambula. I'm not super confident in that prediction, guys, but you know, Cody 6-2, Dalcha 11-3. How do you make a prediction here? You know the type of matchup you've got. You know Dalcha slows down. You know Cody's gonna wrestle. You know if Cody pushes Dalcha against the fence up close, you know it takes one bomb from Dalcha to put him down. That might happen. I'm going to side with Dalcha. Now, looking at the betting line, guys, you've got Dalcha Lungiambula minus 120. So if you are leaning on Dalcha to win the fight, you don't have to pay for it. Close to even money, you know, that's pretty good. All right, my homies, moving into a matchup between Sabina Mazo taking on Miranda Maverick. Quite a decent matchup. When you're looking at this skill set of Sabina Mazo, it's primarily Muay Thai. You know, she can take you to the mat, but I'm not sure she wants to do that against Miranda Maverick. On the flip side, Miranda Maverick might want to take Sabina Mazo to the mat. Man, the UFC is pretty good with their matchmaking. Sabina Mazo 2-fight losing streak. Miranda Maverick 2-fight losing streak. You know, every matchup kind of has a story. And the story in this matchup is going to be both of these girls need a win. When you're looking at how this one might play out, I know Miranda Maverick got completely ragdolled by Erin Nurmagomedov. You know what I'm saying? That's not Erin Blanchfield. That's Erin Nurmagomedov, yeah? A complete mauling, a complete ragdoll performance. Now, despite seeing that happen to Miranda Maverick, is Sabina Mazo going to do that here? Is she going to ragdoll Miranda like that? Absolutely not. If anyone's going to come close to that type of performance, that type of ragdolling, it's going to be Miranda Maverick inflicting that on Sabina Mazo. You know what I'm saying? I think striking or grappling, guys, whatever you want to do in this matchup, if you're Miranda Maverick, you should probably be in charge. You know, Sabina Mazo is quite long, you know, she's trying to box you up a little bit. But if you look at Alexis Davis was landing that calf kick over and over. Now you've got a decent Muay Thai fighter in Miranda Maverick, who is a good kicker. You know, she's also a good boxer. You know, she should dust up Sabina Mazo on the feet. And if you take her to the mat, you're arguably going to control that type of fight even more. The pick has to be Miranda Maverick. Now, looking at the betting line has Miranda Maverick 75%, which is, you know, that's chalky. That is a bit chalky. I wouldn't put Miranda Maverick minus 300. Maybe you'd go minus 250 at the most. But yeah, the prediction has to be Miranda Maverick in this spot. I just think she's more well-rounded. Anything Sabina Mazo wants to do, Miranda Maverick can do it better. You know what I'm saying? Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Damon Jackson taking on Camuela Kirk. A really difficult prediction to make. You know, it's one of those matchups where you can see the path to victory for Damon Jackson. You can see the path to victory for Camuela Kirk. It's a good matchup, you know, good matchmaking. Alright, so let's speak about Damon Jackson first. This guy has really good jiu-jitsu. Not only does he have really good jiu-jitsu, but the cardio. The cardio's a weapon for Damon Jackson. You know, you don't look at Damon Jackson and think, this guy's going to be a world champion, this guy's going to be the next big thing. But when you look at what he's good at, the cardio, the grappling, you know, he's putting in the work. On the flip side, you've got Camuela Kirk, who, again, the same thing. I don't think you look at this guy and think he's going to be a champion. He kind of has this Conor McGregor style to him. You know, if you look at him on the feet with the stance, it kind of looks a little bit like Conor McGregor. Obviously, the counter-punching ability is not on the same level as Conor McGregor, but you can see what he's trying to do. So guys, if I'm trying to picture this matchup in a striking standpoint, maybe Damon Jackson has more to offer with the output. But if you're looking at which fighter has the ability to set the other one down with that counter shot, it's going to be Kirk. Now the matchup gets difficult to predict because if you factor in Damon Jackson potentially taking Kirk to the mat, looking to just grapple Kirk and fatigue him, that's where it's difficult to make a prediction. You know, you can see Damon Jackson winning that type of fight. On the flip side, you know Kirk has good jiu-jitsu, arguably better striking from a technical standpoint. It's a good matchup, guys. I'm going to side with Camuela Kirk. I think he's a little bit more dangerous when it comes to counter-punching. So in round one, you know, if Damon Jackson overextends or gets a little bit reckless, Kirk might set him down. Of course, the flip side's going to be if Damon Jackson can use the cardio as a weapon, like he normally does, you know, he might beat Kirk. And you've got Kirk minus 120, minus 130, Jackson plus 110. So yeah, another matchup where the bookies lining this one real close, and there's reasons as to why. It's a difficult fight to predict. Alright guys, moving into a matchup that is a really decent matchup. You've got Trevin Jones taking on Javid Basharat. I'm not sure why they put Javid on this fight card when there's a London fight card next week after this card, but yeah, we've got Javid Basharat, Trevin Jones, really decent matchup. So when you look at Trevin Jones, when you look at what this guy is really good at, you know, the power kicks, the low kicks, super powerful. When you're looking at his knockout ability, the way he caught Mario Batista and dusted him, really nice work. Now, despite Trevin Jones having like a pretty powerful striking skill set, the power's there. Despite this, Trevin Jones is primarily a jiu-jitsu practitioner, which might be surprising for some people. You know, you're seeing him with this knockout power, super powerful low kicks, but his foundation is wrapping you up. You know what I'm saying? Snapping your arm, choking you out. That's what Trevin Jones is really good at doing. On the flip side, you've got Javid Basharat, 11-0 as a pro. This guy looked really good on the Contender Series. Really good. I like the movement, I like the kicks, I like the output, I like the cardio, I like the ground and pound, I like the grappling. There's a lot to like with Javid Basharat. Even the talking, yeah? Javid Basharat, when he got done with that fight on the Contender, he goes over to Dana White and he's like, hey, where's my contract? Bell to bell. You know, basically telling Dana, look, there's not one moment where my opponent done well. Bell to bell, I dominated this guy. And he really did. You know, he torched him, dusted him. He outclassed him in every single area you can outclass someone in a fight. So yeah, guys, looking at how this one may play out, if I'm being completely honest, I kind of think Javid Basharat's going to be the pick. The only way I can see him losing this fight is if Trevin Jones just finds that knockout punch. I think it's going to look good the whole time for Javid Basharat until Trevin Jones finds that punch. We say it every week, styles make fights. If you're looking at Mario Batista and what he had to do to beat Trevin Jones, Mario Batista never decided, look, I'm going to go in there and out-grapple Trevin Jones. If you're Mario Batista, you're trying to strike. And he was doing that against Trevin Jones, but Trevin finds a big moment, knocks him out. Now, if you're Javid Basharat, you're going to be happy to strike, but you're also going to be happy to grapple. Yes, Trevin Jones has a good grappling skill set, but so does Javid Basharat. So Javid's going to use those Taekwondo kicks on the feet, might take the fight to the mat. He's a well-rounded guy. My prediction on this fight, guys, I'm going to side with Javid Basharat. I think he wins the whole fight until he gets knocked out. And if he doesn't get knocked out, you know, there might be a ground and pound stoppage. There could be a submission for Javid Basharat. Or there could be a bell-to-bell dominant performance like there was on the Contender. My prediction's Javid Basharat. Now looking at the line the bookies have set, they've set -150 on Javid Basharat, which indicates a 60% probability. To be honest, I think 60% probability, 60% chance, it's pretty decent. It's pretty accurate too. Alright, moving into a matchup between JJ Aldrich taking on Gillian Robertson. We know exactly what we've got with this matchup. You've got kickboxing versus jiu-jitsu. JJ Aldrich is going to be the kickboxer. Gillian Robertson is going to be the jiu-jitsu practitioner. She wants to take you to the mat. You know, Gillian Robertson has evolved in her career from a striking standpoint. She has evolved a little bit. But has she evolved enough to the point where she's going to beat strikers at their own game? You know, is she going to out-kickbox JJ Aldrich? Probably not. You know, the striking has improved, but it's not improved that much. Now, on the flip side, is JJ Aldrich going to out-grapple Gillian Robertson? Is she going to take her down and try to beat Gillian at her game? Probably not. You've got striking versus grappling. Now, guys, the one thing that I do like about Gillian Robertson, she's always trying to grapple. She understands that she's a really decent jiu-jitsu player. Now, there is times in her career against Taylor Santos or Miranda Maverick, you know, there's times where the opponent is able to compete and even out-grapple her a little bit. But this doesn't put Gillian Robertson off, you know. She's looking to grapple, fight in, fight out. So if you lay your money on Robertson, at least you know she's going to go in there and try to grapple. You know, that's the one thing I like about Gillian, because when you're laying money on these fighters, guys, you're laying money, right? You know, it's horrible when you bet on a fighter and they show up with a horrible game plan. For example, Jessica Rose Clark. Why Jessica Rose Clark tried to grapple Stephanie Egger, who's a really good judoka and has really good jiu-jitsu. Why she tried to do that, I will never know. But yeah, with Gillian Robertson, she's a grappler. She knows she's a grappler and she tries to do that every single fight. Now, on the flip side, JJ Aldrich is a better kicker. She is a better boxer. So if JJ Aldrich can fight that fight, she's probably going to beat Robertson. It's one or the other. You've got to make your pick. I'm going to side with the Savage on this one to take JJ to the mat. And if you take her to the mat, there's probably going to be a submission. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my prediction. I'm going to take the jiu-jitsu player. Now, looking at the betting line, you've got Gillian Robertson -150, -140. JJ coming back +110, +120. Yeah, this betting line's pretty spot on. I mean, if the fight is in a kickboxing situation, the underdog's going to look good. If the fight goes to the mat, that's where there could be a wrap. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pick Gillian Robertson to take JJ to the mat. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Matt Semelsberger taking on AJ Fletcher. You know, this really isn't a UFC level type matchup. This is kind of like a contender series matchup. I know Matt Semelsberger's had a few UFC fights at this point, but it still feels like a contender series matchup. Now guys, if you're looking at what AJ Fletcher done on the Contender, complete dusteration. You know, he smacked the opponent with that flying knee, gets a contract, you love to see it. Now, is he going to smack Matt Semelsberger with the same knee? Is he going to smack Matt Semelsberger with a nasty technique to stop the fight? I'm going to say no. So yeah, making a prediction on this one, It's difficult to say how the fight's going to play out, but I don't think AJ Fletcher has better wrestling than Matt Semelsberger. Maybe he's got some techniques to offer, like a flying knee here and there, but I just think Matt Semelsberger can do anything AJ Fletcher can do. You know, who's got a better jab? I'm going to say Matt Semelsberger. Who's got better wrestling between Matt and AJ? I'd probably lean towards Matt Semelsberger. Man, I'm so high right now, a burger does sound like a good idea. But yeah, guys, my prediction, I'm going to side with Matt Semelsberger. I think he can do anything AJ Fletcher can do. And that's ultimately why I'm making that prediction. I'm going to side with Matt Semelsberger. Alright, my homies, you know what time it is. And if you don't know what time it is, you best get to know. It's like when Dana says, if you don't know, now you know. Hashtag Biggie Smalls, one of the best. Alright guys, if you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker, but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's a triple amen, gang. Let's go. Hey, I hope all of you guys are doing well, doing blessed, having a good day, having a good start to your week. My question this week is going to be, if you've had any really trippy experiences with weed, drop that in the comment section. Obviously, if it's not weed related that you've had those trippy experiences with, if it's like LSD or mushrooms, you can drop that in the comment section too. But for me, guys, I'm gonna give you a trippy story when I was smoking weed, and this goes right back to like the start of my smoking career, right? And I kind of feel like anyone who has a trippy experience with weed, I feel like it's at the start. It's when you're not used to smoking. You know, I'm gonna give you guys this trippy experience that I had right at the start. Guys, you know when you're having like a smoke break, a smoke sesh with one of your friends, you might have the console on the go, you know, you load up the Xbox, maybe you're playing FIFA or whatever you're playing, right? This time I was playing FIFA with one of my friends. This must have been like my 20th blunt, you know, I was quite new to smoking back then. You know how it goes, you know, you're passing the blunt back and forth, you're having a good time, you're smoking up, you're playing the console, you're having a good time. Man, out of nowhere, guys, right? I'm mid-game FIFA, I think I'm winning, I'm probably winning, right? Suddenly, I'm above myself. I'm literally looking at the screen and I can see my hair, you know what I'm saying? I'm above my head looking at the screen. And when you're describing that with weed, it sounds like you're smoking something else, right? That doesn't sound like weed to me. You know, if I smoke this blunt right here, and I end up above my head right now looking at the desktop, I'm not going to be smoking weed. This is something else, right? But when you're new to smoking, these trippy things kind of do happen. And that's what happened to me this one time. I was literally above my head, bird's eye view. You know, it was such a trippy thing. I went with it though. You know, I didn't freak out. I went with it. And to be honest, man, I probably got an advantage on the game, you know, bird's eye view. But yeah, guys, the smoke break question, if you've got any trippy experiences on weed, drop it in the comment section. Alright, my homies, if you want all of my bets on this UFC card, the only way to do that is going to be on the Patreon. Like I said at the start of the breakdown, I'm kind of in this win-loss type of form with betting on the UFC. But I'm looking to break that. I'm looking to go on a nice run. And if you want to join me on that run, be sure to sign up. Alright, my homies, let's break down the main card. Let's go. Amen to the whole gang. Alright, my homies, moving into a matchup between Bruno Silva taking on Alex Pereira. Bruno Silva has looked pretty good inside the UFC. You know, he debuted against Wellington Turman, gets a finish. Then he gets a matchup against Andrew Sanchez where he got wrestled a little bit in this fight, but still gets a finish. And then you put him against Jordan Wright, where Jordan Wright actually rocked him. He actually rocked him at one point, but Bruno Silva still finds a finish. Now guys, when you're looking at Alex Pereira, this guy has a win over Adesanya. Not many people have that win. And when you do beat Adesanya, normally you're trying to grapple, you know, wrestle, take him to the mat, avoid the striking game plan. But Alex Pereira TKO'd Adesanya in a kickboxing fight, which really highlights how good Alex Pereira is. Now when you look at Alex Pereira in his UFC debut, the way he put out Michelidas, just so nasty. And to be honest, guys, I did take Michelidas in this fight. I took Michelidas to grapple Alex Pereira, which he did accomplish in round 1. But round 2 starts, you start on the feet, you're not on the mat, and you get to see just how dangerous Alex Pereira is. So that's what you've got with this matchup, guys. You've got Bruno Silva, who's super dangerous, against Alex Pereira, also super dangerous. Now, if you put a gun to your head, or if someone else I'm not sure why you would put a gun to your head. Never do that, by the way, guys. Don't do that. If someone else put a gun to your head, right, and said who wins this matchup, my answer is going to be Alex Pereira. And I'm going to hope that there's no grappling, right? I'm going to hope we get to strike with this matchup. Bruno Silva has the potential to knock out Alex Pereira, but I just don't see it. I think Alex Pereira is such a good kicker that he's going to keep Bruno Silva at distance. You know, he's going to manage the kicks, just control Bruno Silva. If Bruno Silva gets over aggressive, Alex Pereira will take advantage of your mistakes. So of course, if you're Bruno Silva, you're probably going to say to yourself, I need to be careful on the feet. I should probably grapple this guy. Probably take him to the mat. To be honest, guys, that should be the game plan for anyone fighting Alex Pereira. You know, if you're getting inside the octagon with Pereira, take him to the mat. You know, if Israel Adesanya got knocked out by this guy, should I stand and trade with Alex Pereira? Probably not. We do have to remember that we are inside the smaller octagon, but you haven't got a really top level wrestler in Bruno Silva. But yeah, my prediction, I'm going to side with the much better kickboxer in my opinion, and that's going to be Alex Pereira. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Drew Dober taking on Terrence McKinney. Now guys, can you see the pattern, right? You look at Bobby Green, he gets a win, steps in again, gets badly beaten. You look at Renato Moicano, gets a win, steps in again, gets badly beaten. By the way guys, the heart Moicano showed, insane, really insane. And it's so insane because usually you wouldn't think of Moicano as that type of guy. Kind of quits a little bit, but not this time. Now guys, Terrence McKinney gets a win, steps in again. Does the trend continue? You know, two guys have tried to do that and have got completely dusted. When you look at the skill set of Drew Dober, this is a guy you've got to respect. You know, the boxing's good, the cardio's good, the wrestling's good, the movement, he's got a chin, he can take damage, he can dish out damage. You know, Drew Dober, man, is a good fighter. Hey guys, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to go against the trend. I want to go against it. You know, I want to say Terrence McKinney gets a win, steps in, gets a win. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that, but I'm not going to do it, man. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go with the trend rather than against the trend. Terrence McKinney has good wrestling, good boxing, good jiu-jitsu. He just displayed that against Faraz Siam. But you try to step in a week later against a guy who can do all of that. You know, Drew Dober can do that. He's got a lot of experience. If Terrence McKinney's going to win this matchup, I think it's got to be round one. You know, use the wrestling again round one. Try to stop Drew Dober. Because if this matchup leaves round one, you're gonna see a good fighter in Drew Dober. You're gonna see that boxing, you're gonna see the wrestling. That's what I'm gonna stick with. My prediction's gonna be Drew Dober. Alright my homies, we've got a matchup between Khalil Rountree taking on Carl Roberson. Now something to note with this matchup, Carl Roberson is gonna be stepping up to light heavyweight. 205, yeah, he's stepping up a weight class. If you look at Khalil Rountree against Eric Anders, this was over a couple years ago, maybe even more than that at this point. But if you go back and watch this fight, guys, Khalil Rountree literally turns into a Muay Thai master. Yeah, this guy's sending the Muay Thai kicks real quick. Then you look at the matchup against Marcin Prachnio where the kicks were still there. You know, he was still kicking, but Marcin Prachnio was offering those kicks back. Now you look at Khalil Rountree against Modestus in his last matchup. You know, that side kick that he used to finish the fight. A lot of people speak about this technique being a dirty technique. And to be honest, man, it is. But Khalil Rountree, man, with the Muay Thai, you know, he don't mind. He's going to try to kick you like that. And he's been doing good work with the kicks. Now, on the flip side, when you look at Carl Roberson, he's stepping up in weight. I'm not sure why. Maybe he wants to be quicker than the opponent, which is going to be difficult against Khalil Rountree because when you look at the speed of the kicks, really quick for light heavyweight. So I'm not too sure Carl Roberson's going to get a speed advantage or even have a kicking advantage like he normally would. So even in this type of matchup where you've got a good kicker in Roberson, he's going to be matched there. Both of these guys are really good kickers. Now guys, looking at Carl Roberson and the way he normally loses fights, it's normally going to be a submission. Khalil Rountree's not about the jiu-jitsu life. As we've seen with Khalil Rountree, this guy is all about the Muay Thai. So yeah guys, looking at the matchup you've got, I would say striker versus striker. I'm going to side with the guy who's more used to fighting at 205, and that's going to be Khalil Rountree. So yeah, that's going to be my prediction, guys. Not super confident it comes in, but gun to the head, yeah, Muay Thai Rountree. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Alex Caceres taking on Sadiq Yusuff. Man, if I'm being honest guys, I bet against Alex Caceres in his last matchup and he completely dusted Sung Woo Choi. Now, if you're going to make a prediction on this matchup based on who's got more experience, who's fought better competition, who's got good jiu-jitsu, who's got more techniques from like a kicking perspective, if you're going to make a prediction based on all of that, your prediction's going to be Alex Caceres. One of the main reasons why I went against Caceres in his last matchup is because his striking defense is pretty bad. Hands low, chin high, it's not a good combination. You know, you kind of get sent to the shadow realm with that combination. And that's really one issue that Caceres has. The hands are low because he's trying to use the kicks. He's trying to be like a Bruce Lee type fighter, which he does kind of do pretty well, you know, he does it well. But the bad thing about this style, if the opponent can make that connection with your chin, if he can find that opening, you know, he can set you down. That even happened against Sung Woo Choi. He done it. He set down Alex Caceres. But like I said at the start of the breakdown, when you're looking at who's got experience, who's got good jiu-jitsu, who's been there and done it time and time again, the answer is Caceres. Now, despite the good winning streak Caceres has, despite the experience, I'm picking Sadiq Yusuff all day. The striking defense, like I just spoke about, hands low, chin high. If he can crack Caceres at any point round 1, round 2, he's probably going to get that TKO stoppage. Now, looking at the betting line, you've got Sadiq Yusuff minus 250, minus 220. Guys, if Caceres continues his winning streak at plus 200, if he cashes at plus 2, oh my goodness, man, I've got to take Yusuff. I hope it comes through. Alright, my homies, really decent co-main event. We've got Marlon Moraes taking on one of my favourite fighters, Song Yadong. Now, guys, before we get into breaking down this co-main, I'd kind of like to do like a 10 seconds of silence for Marlon Moraes. And the reason why we're going to do the 10 seconds of silence, look at the guys Marlon Moraes has fought. Rafael Assunção, John Dodson, Aljamain Sterling, Jimmy Rivera, Henry Cejudo, Jose Aldo, Corey Sandhagen, Rob Font, Merab Dvalishvili. We're doing a 10 seconds of silence for Marlon Moraes. Alright, let's do it. Marlon Moraes, win or lose, you're a killer. And to be honest, man, Marlon Moraes is fighting another killer. Song Yadong is one of the best strikers in the UFC. And I know some people don't really give Song Yadong that type of respect, but I'm gonna. You know, he's one of the best strikers at the highest level. Guys, what you've got with this matchup is the same thing as Marina Rodriguez and Yan. You've got Muay Thai, Marlon Moraes, against Sander, Song Yadong. Both of these guys are really, really good strikers, and that's gonna make for a really good co-main event. I've never picked against Song Yadong. Of course, Marlon Moraes has the ability to stop Song Yadong. He's got the ability, right? Super good Muay Thai fighter. But one of the main weaknesses with Marlon Moraes, if you go back and watch his last few fights, the cardio. The cardio's not great. And if you slow down against Song Yadong, you know, you kind of give yourself no chance. Song Yadong is really quick with his boxing. The hands are real quick. I think Marlon Moraes, like I said, has the ability to stop anyone. His Muay Thai is that good. But guys, outside of round 1, that kind of diminishes. I'm picking Song Yadong. Never picked against him. No way I'm doing that here. I would have to price Song Yadong at least a minus 200. And the bookies have minus 200, no, sorry, minus 240 up to minus 275 on Song Yadong. So yeah, we're not getting that plus money anymore. How he was an underdog against Casey Kenny, I'll never know. Alright, my homies, we've got the main event, Thiago Santos taking on Magomed Ankalaev. I want to say 2 things before I get into the breakdown. Number 1, guys, I am super blessed and super grateful for this community. You guys are awesome. Now, the second thing I want to say before I get into the breakdown, massive, massive amen to Thiago Santos. And the reason why I'm going to say a big amen for this guy, he fought John Jones a couple years ago and he was really close to winning this fight. It was a close fight. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this matchup and familiar with the injury Thiago Santos suffered in this main event. But guys, when you fight John Jones, there's a serious chance that you're going to lose that fight. And Thiago Santos did, you know, he lost the fight. But man, when you look at the effort that Thiago gave, he basically gave 2 of his legs. Double knee surgery, yeah? When you've got to have double knee surgery and learn how to walk again, if you can come back to fighting at all, that's a massive achievement. Now guys, my prediction for this fight, I'm going to pick Magomed Ankalaev to win this matchup. When you're looking at the skill set of Magomed, the striking, the composure, the timing, the movement, the grappling, the IQ, all of it, Magomed Ankalaev is a future champion. You know, what can you really say when you're looking at weaknesses or bad times in Magomed's career? What can you really say? Oh, there was one time where he was beating up a fighter for the whole fight and he gets triangled in the last second. If you're looking at every single other matchup that Magomed's had, he's dominated them. Maybe not against Nikita Krylov, maybe he lost round 1, but again, you know, Nikita's so experienced. Magomed Ankalaev chooses to adapt in this fight, chooses to utilize his grappling and still gets the win. Against Volkan Ozdemir, the boxing looks good. Against Dalcha Lungiambula, the front kick. Against Marcin Prachnio, the high kick. So yeah, when you're looking at Thiago Santos and his chances of winning this matchup, winning this main event, it's pretty much a puncher's chance. Now, the good thing for Thiago Santos is a great puncher. You know, Thiago Santos has literally made a career out of knocking guys out. But I'm going to come back to the thing that I started with on this breakdown. This guy has had double knee surgery, had to learn how to walk again. So yeah, man, the movement is not as good as it used to be. He doesn't close distance the same way that he did. It's crazy that he's even fighting. It's crazy that he's good enough to recover from 2 knee surgeries and still able to compete. And he even gets the win against Johnny Walker in the main event. You know, a lot of staring in that matchup. But yeah, there's just no way I'm going to pick Thiago Santos against Magomed Ankalaev. Not at this point in both guys' careers. You know what I'm saying? You know, 2018, 2017. Okay, there's a really good case that Thiago might win. The only real case that I can make for Thiago Santos in this matchup is just, you know, he finds a shot at some point. At some point, he just finds that shot. I've got to side with Magomed Ankalaev, and I'd give him like a solid 80% probability, a solid 80% chance at winning this main event. And the bookies say over 80% for Magomed Ankalaev. They've got Magomed minus 500. Alright, my homies, drop down your main event, your co-main event, parlays, underdogs, all of that good stuff. Drop it in the comment section below. Keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Mac Miller. Alright, peace.